Now, lots of questions about the Bills, the Niners, the Browns, and Washington. He's currently an analyst for NBC Sports Bay Area and CBS Sports Network, and that's only going to grow because you're just going to go. I mean, last time you were on the show, Donte Whitner, proud Ohio State Buckeye, I left with such an education. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, you're welcome. And another thing I'm going to educate you about, they keep saying two-time Pro Bowler. I made 3 Pro Bowls. It's very difficult to make Pro Bowls.
Oh my gosh, why do we do this?
I don't know why that's
fired.
on Wikipedia. They're cheating me of a Pro Bowl, but we have to change that. I made 3.
We will fire Wikipedia. Everybody on Twitter, please let's get that going and correct it. And somebody's losing their job 2 days before Thanksgiving on our staff. That's just, I'm kidding. You're here. We're happy to have you. We had Daniel Jones on the show. We have Levante David on the program. Listen, there's a mighty big game this weekend in the college world, though. We got to start with your Buckeyes taking on the Michigan Wolverines. You're underdogs on Saturday, my friend. Tell me why Ohio State wins this one.
Well, because we have better players, we have better coaching, and because they can't use the signs that they stole from other teams, right? They can't do it versus Ohio State. So we saw last week that they struggled with Maryland, and Maryland is a feisty team. They were able to take away the running game from Blake Corum. They were able to get after J.J. McCarthy, and in the fourth quarter, they had ample opportunities to win that game. And at Ohio State, this is our everything. We have a clock in the locker room that really counts down all year, all the way until the second of that toe meeting rubber. And, you know, it doesn't matter if you're undefeated or not. If you lose to Michigan, it's a failed season. So, yeah, we lost 3 consecutive, but this is our year.
Now, you're familiar with Taylor Lewan? Y'all have had some battles, yeah?
Yeah, we have. Many.
Okay, so he was on my show. He was on my show yesterday, and he had this message for you.
Me here.
Brother, if you guys keep working hard, if the Ohio State program keeps working hard, you guys will be back someday, but that's not this year. Michigan is essentially creating the greatest movie, the greatest 30 for 30 anyone will ever see. The adversity, the allegations, people are coming at them left and right. And what's going to happen? They're going to dominate Ohio State yet again, like they have the last 2 years. They're going to go to the college football playoff and they're going to win the entire national championship. And everyone's going to give them an asterisk, but they're going to give double birds to the world and keep it moving, brother. So good luck. Your guys are going to definitely get to need it.
They weren't talking like that when we won 9 consecutive. I didn't hear all the Michigan fans screaming when we won 9 consecutive games versus Michigan and probably got 4 of their head coaches fired. And, you know, I do agree with the adversity part of it. And I play for Coach. I play for Coach Harbaugh. And one of the things that makes him special is his ability to affect the guys in a psychological manner. For example, the greatest leaders in the world, they're able to bond those players together and get them to believe in certain things. And one thing that he had us believe in was that the front office was against us, that the media, who he calls the pundit and scribes, were against us, and we had different chants. And the biggest chant that we had was, who has it better than us? And when you look at all the great leaders in the history, this is what they all had. So I agree that he's using the adversity, he's using the psychological warfare to really mold his team and go out there and do whatever it takes to get that one win. But I don't see it happening this year. When you look at the Ohio State and how we're built, and you look at every statistical category across the board, we're top 5 in it. We have NFL talent on all levels, and right now we're the number 1 supplier of NFL talent, of college talent in the NFL. So, yeah, they got us 3 consecutive, but it's our time this year. But he's going to use that. He's going to use everything to try to get a victory.
Yeah. Yes, he's going to use that. I wish I could add to the conversation. I went to Mizzou. I'm just happy where I heard ranked top 10 for the first time in like 10 years. So I wish my alma mater was more involved in the drama and the sauce of all this, but it'll be a great game. And listen, Donte, we got to flip to the NFL here. We had a great game last night. The Eagles won the Super Bowl rematch over the Chiefs. Kansas City shut out in the second half. This season, they have scored the fewest points in the second halves of games more than any team in the entire NFL, which is kind of crazy. Do you think the Chiefs' offense is the reason that they might not make a Super Bowl, which is crazy to say, because if they make it, it's surely going to be on their defense?
Absolutely, and we saw it last night late. You saw the big drop at the biggest moment in the game, and they don't have a guy like Tyreek Hill that steps up in those moments that threatens the defense and really open up things underneath for, Travis Kelce. They're making Travis Kelce work too hard to get open and get the production that they need. He's their only playmaker really on the offensive side of the ball, besides the running backs. And you're putting too much pressure on Mahomes. They're expecting Mahomes to go out there with a bunch of players that aren't producing in the moment and really haven't earned their stripes. And the Kansas City Chiefs, when you're coming off a Super Bowl, you're going to get everybody's best shot. And it takes a lot of mental fortitude to really step up and play that level of football each and every week. And you had a very hungry Philadelphia Eagles team that's built very well up front on both sides of the ball. And they just made one more play than the Kansas City Chiefs. But all in all, I think that Kansas City, if the receiver catches the football late in the fourth quarter, we're having a different conversation.
Now you've been do you think the Eagles are the best team in the NFL?
No, the 49ers. 49ers are the best team in the NFL. Once they acquired Chase Young, that shifted the power dynamic in the NFL. Mostly because the 49ers are built to, basically through a four-man rush. And when you have a guy like Chase Young who demands attention, who forces offenses to, okay, now you have to decipher who you're going to double. Now you leave many defensive linemen out there like Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave one-on-one, and then that's when they start to move these guys around. So the 49ers have played incredible football, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, all because of the acquisition of Chase Young. Look at it similarly to when they acquired Christian McCaffrey and the offense started to take off. I think we're going to see that from the same side of the defense.
That level impact, that's, and that's Ohio State vibes. I see you
Absolutely.
There.
They got the Buckeye crunch.
Are we just gonna pretend that losing an all-pro safety like Hufanga isn't gonna change their chances? Like, how do they, give me something, give me the reason I think that they can overcome his absence.
Well, because they have a veteran back there that I pretty much coached up when he was a young guy in the league, and Tashawn Gibson, to take control and lead with the communication. And if he makes it easy on the rookie, if he tells him exactly what to do, as I did when we were with the Cleveland Browns, he'll be okay. And then you have another guy that I played with over there in the coaching staff who understands how to develop a young safety, and that's Deshaun Goldson, all-pro safety I played with in San Francisco.
That's
so
right.
He has a bunch of defensive guys around him to get him ready. And we're talking about Jair Brown, who was drafted in the 3rd round this year, who, if he would have ran a little faster, he probably would have been a late first rounder. And we saw what he did when he came in to replace Hufanga at the end of that game. He had 3 key pass breakups, 4 tackles, and a game-sealing interception. So, it's all good to sit behind an all-pro, but, we expect this to happen. Safety is one of those positions that you can cover up for with a pass rush, with another veteran safety. He's not on the island a lot of times, so he just has to do his 111, and Tashawn Gibson is going to make sure that he does that.
I just love that you brought up Deshaun Goldson. That made me happy. You've played with some good. I miss you out there. I miss that whole crew of guys. That's amazing. Listen, the guy, Brown made some big PBUs on Evans, so I like what you're saying. I do think the secondary has been like sort of if you're looking at the Niners, the target, like it's the low-hanging fruit pinata of like, if there's an issue here, it's that, and he's been the best, guy for years now, Hufanga. So we'll see if what you're saying can happen. But let's talk about your Browns, okay? Your hometown Cleveland Browns. You were a Pro Bowler a multiple Pro Bowler? I don't know. You'll have to tell me.
I made 1 Pro Bowl with the Cleveland Browns and 2 with San Francisco.
Okay, perfect. So you're Pro Bowler for the Browns. So we got to talk about them. They're sitting there at 7-3. They're, in the 5th spot in the playoffs, trying to figure it out. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he played good enough to get the win against the Steelers. I was impressed. I'm impressed with him as a player, as a man, the guy in front of the microphone handling all of this. Do you think they should stick with DTR, or, is Flacco something that's interesting to you? What do you make of the quarterback situation, how far it can go?
I think they should stick with DTR, but you have to play to the offensive strengths. You have to run the football and run it at a high clip, especially on 1st and 2nd down. I think that they have the ability to minimize the risk of him having to throw the ball consistently, being that their defense is tops in the NFL. When you have a defensive line like they have with just a barrage of different players, starting with Myles Garrett, who's a generational talent and pretty much unblockable. I think that you can lean towards your defense, your running game, a lot of screen game. And, in those moments when he has to make a play, I think that he has the ability to navigate the pocket, be able to influence and play some sort of background football, but take care of the football. So I think you go with DTR. He looks light years ahead of where he was earlier in the season before they played the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I don't even think it should be much of a conversation. Is this the best Browns team that you've seen since they moved back to Cleveland?
Yes, 100%. And I was a part of some of those Brown teams. And watching them play, it looks like a championship mentality. Watching them execute on offense and defense, because remember, I covered the 49ers and I had to watch their film. So what I'm watching is a high level of, good coaching, because they're putting their players in position. They're affecting the quarterback, not only with rushers, but with deception and how the safeties are wide and high and shoulders. And then the cornerback play, they've really asked their corners to step up and play a lot of man coverage. And then the way that they adjust on a weekly basis shows me that, this is a championship team and they're for real. So, earlier this season, I said that the Cleveland Browns defense was pretenders going into the 49ers game. I got a lot of backlash for that. I took that back, but they're for real. This is the best Cleveland Browns team that they've had in probably 20, 25 years.
Last question for you, and a quick one because we got to run. But I saw on your Twitter timeline you had a lot to say about the Bills. You were spending some time there. After what we saw a couple weeks ago this week, do they make the playoffs?
They're here. You see this? Right? Up and down, up and down. I think that a move that really wasn't talked about was Brian Dable leaving. Like, when you have a great offensive mind like that, it's not easy just to plug and replace you. And that was really Josh Allen's, confidant. That's who made sure that he was comfortable at all times and would adjust things based on how he saw the game. So when you hire Ken Dorsey and the offense and the defense start to play and fluctuate, it leads to losses. So they're at a crossroad in their season. If they can run off 2, 3, 4 in a row, I think they can save it. If they fluctuate and keep going like this, I don't know if the Bills can make that long run. I don't know if they can do it.
I think this is it. All right, we appreciate you, Donte Whitner. Good luck to your Niners. Good luck to everything you're doing in your amazing analyst career.